409. What's so great about the Seeking Passion sect? Published by Divine Tao Library. Translator, Salavan and Godbrandy. Translation checker, Pew Pew Lasergun. Editor and proofreader, Leo of Zion Mountain and Dale Ligerkeys. Yang Kai's group flew over the wilderness with his ship. At this time, the only people on board were Yang Kai, Lu Xianyun, and Iceheart Valley's disciples. Ling Yin-chin left as soon as the ship reached land, as she wanted to return her husband's ashes to the Eastern Territory's Heavenly Wolf sect and bury them at his birthplace. Zhao Yi and the others naturally followed Ling Yin-chin. As for Yang Kai's group, they were headed to Iceheart Valley. Fan Xin and her sisters had long yearned for this master sect of theirs, so now that they were in the Northern Territory, they absolutely wanted to take a look at it. Iceheart Valley was pretty far from the Ice Sea, so even with the high travel speed of Yang Kai's ship, it would take from 10 days to half a month to reach it. Luckily, Bing Yun was very familiar with the topography of the Northern Territory, so Yang Kai didn't have to worry about getting lost. A few days later, while sitting in meditation in the cabin, Yang Kai heard a commotion on the deck. Startled, he hurried to check what was going on. Fan Xin and the others were standing on the deck, all looking in a certain direction. What happened? Yang Kai frowned. Senior brother Yang. After seeing Yang Kai, Fan Xin pointed toward a certain place. Someone's fighting over there. Moreover, it seems as if a group of people is ganging up on a single woman. How shameless. Yang Kai hurried to release his divine sense and sure enough, a dozen or so kilometers away from them, he spotted a group of people besieging a young woman. The woman's cultivation wasn't bad, third-order Dao source realm, and her source chi was quite vigorous. The artifacts she was using were also very high grade, which allowed her to hold her ground even though she was outnumbered. Among the people besieging her were 2 third-order Dao source realm cultivators, but for some reason, they seemed reluctant to use lethal force. They surrounded her and kept attacking with the hope of wearing her down. It seemed they wanted to capture her alive. At first glance, Yang Kai knew that the young woman was an elite disciple from some major sect. She wasn't much weaker than people like Chia Sheng and Wu Chang, and in a life-or-death battle, they would likely be equally matched. Each of the top sects in the Southern Territory had rising stars such as Chia Sheng and Wu Chang, so the Northern Territory should not be any different. Obviously, this girl was one such example. Yang Kai guessed that the people besieging her knew her real identity, which was why they did not dare to use too much force and wanted to capture her alive. Considering all this, he said calmly, in the star boundary, things like this happen every day, there's no point in intervening in this fight. Although it was disgraceful for a group of men to gang up on a lone woman, scenes like this were very common in the star boundary, so Yang Kai didn't feel like meddling in other people's affairs. Moreover, he felt that if the woman put her life on the line and used everything she had, she might be able to escape from these people. The reason she was under siege was that she wasn't ready to make this sacrifice yet. But senior brother Yang, Fan Xin looked at him anxiously. That girl is using the secret techniques and secret arts of Iceheart Valley. She might be one of our senior sisters. A disciple of Iceheart Valley. Yang Kai frowned somewhat surprised as he asked, are you certain? Fan Xin urged him, of course. We've been cultivating the secret arts and secret techniques our honored master taught us for so long, we wouldn't make such a mistake. Now that one of our senior sisters is in trouble, we can't just stand by and do nothing. Yang Kai took another look at the woman and discovered that she was using Ice Attribute secret arts and secret techniques, while the energy released from her artifact was also bone-chilling. It became clear that Fan Xin was right, this unknown young woman was indeed a disciple of Iceheart Valley. However, Iceheart Valley was also one of the top sects in the Northern Territory. It was very rare for their disciples to be attacked while roaming the Northern Territory. How did this girl end up in this situation? Who were the people attacking her? Senior brother, Lu Xianyun also looked at Yang Kai, a pleading expression on her face. She was a disciple of Iceheart Valley now, and seeing a senior sister from the same sect attacked by so many people, she was unable to keep watching. But as her cultivation was too low, she could only pin her hopes on Yang Kai. If she is a disciple of Iceheart Valley, we can't just stand here and watch. Yang Kai nodded, making a hand seal and changing the direction of the ship, steering it towards the battlefield. With its speed, his ship was capable of covering a dozen or so kilometers within a few breaths of time. The two opposing forces reacted differently when they noticed that someone was approaching. The woman furrowed her brows, a little worried, while on the other hand, the cultivators besieging her seemed displeased. However, both sides ceased hostilities and turned their attention towards the ship. As he came closer, Yang Kai discovered that this Iceheart Valley's disciple was a rare beauty. Her long hair danced in the wind like the clouds did in the sky, and her willow eyebrows looked as soft as smoke. Her two beautiful eyes darted around, and perhaps due to the fight just now, she was slightly short of breath. Her jade cheeks had become bright red, glistening with sweat, while her skin remained white and flawless, not any different from freshly fallen snow. Her aura was similar to Bing Yun's as both were very pure, and the sweat dripping from her pretty brow only added to her charm. There was no doubt about the fact that she was a disciple of Ice Heart Valley. Yang Kai could confirm this much just from her aura. Standing on the deck, he nodded at her. The woman frowned even deeper seeing this. Although she could feel Yang Kai's kindness towards her, she couldn't understand why he was helping her. This group of people besieging her were not to be taken lightly, and an average person wouldn't dare to cross them. This is a seeking passion sect's matter. Loiterers should withdraw immediately, a middle-aged man in the Third Order Dao Source realm shouted at Yang Kai. Seeking passion sect. Yang Kai was surprised. A few days ago, when they first appeared in the Northern Territory, they bumped into a group of people from Immaculate Island who were looking for the blue infant beast in order to give it to Seeking Passion Sect's young sect master, supposedly as a congratulatory gift for his auspicious day. Yang Kai didn't expect to bump into people from Seeking Passion Sect right after. According to Bing Yun, Seeking Passion Sect was also one of the top sects in the Northern Territory. Back when she left, the two sects were on par in terms of strength. That was why the Seeking Passion Sect's disciples were so arrogant while roaming the Northern Territory, something that Yang Kai was able to confirm firsthand at this moment. No one asked him who he was. The first thing they did was to order him around. From the looks of it, they didn't put him in their eyes at all. As they saw it, as long as they mentioned Seeking Passion Sect's name, the other party should leave obediently. At first, Yang Kai didn't have much of an opinion regarding this Seeking Passion Sect, but after seeing how arrogant their disciples were, coupled with the fact that they were bullying this girl from Ice Heart Valley with their superior numbers, his opinion of them worsened. What's so great about the Seeking Passion Sect? Retorted Fan Xin, furious for what was happening to her senior sister. You're just a bunch of cowardly men bullying a woman. Do you have no shame? Cheap slut, you court death. The middle-aged man flew into a rage and his murderous intent soared as he sent out a strand of pure spiritual energy towards Fan Xin, clearly intending to punish her severely for her insolence. In the Northern Territory, not many dared to pick a fight with the Seeking Passion Sect. It was unknown where these people came from, but they unexpectedly wanted to meddle with their business. They were really courting death. On the ship, only Yang Kai, who was a third-order Dao Source realm cultivator, could enter their eyes slightly. The others with uneven and low cultivations weren't even worth mentioning. Given the situation, they took for granted that Yang Kai's group didn't have much of a backing. They should be the disciples of some average sect. When the spiritual energy burst was released, a burst of oppressive aura blew in their faces, causing Fan Xin to pale as she found herself short of breath. She felt as if a sharp sword was flying towards her and no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't move. She was so scared that her heart sank, and her limbs went cold. Yang Kai gently pulled her back, placing her behind him while at the same time, he released his own spiritual energy to counter the incoming attack. The collision of powers was soundless and Yang Kai didn't move in the slightest, but the arrogant middle-aged man actually reeled back, with his face becoming slightly pale as he spat out a mouthful of blood. It was a sign that his soul was damaged. Furthermore, it proved that the difference between his spiritual energy and Yang Kai's was massive. Deacon Dong. The Seeking Passion Sect group turned pale. Startled, they hurried to assist the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man seemed to be injured to the point where he couldn't even speak, only able to lightly wave his hand as he hurried to take a pill from his space ring and stuff it into his mouth. Boy, you dare to sneak attack Dong Shan. You'll pay with your life. The other third-order Dao Source realm cultivator flew into a rage. While shouting, he summoned a saber that seemed to have a ghoulish head attached to its grip. He then jumped up and flew towards Yang Kai like a great eagle and slashed down. He believed that Dong Shan was injured because he was caught off guard, so he prepared to rely on his strength, which was slightly higher than Dong Shan's, to kill Yang Kai and avenge this humiliation. The strength of his blow seemed capable of shattering the sky. Even though they were standing behind Yang Kai, Fan Xin and Lu Xianyun paled as an aura of death blew across their faces. Yang Kai stood on the deck and didn't try to dodge. Only when the saber was about to hit him did he counterattack. Violently punching out, in the blink of an eye, the vast sky was filled with the fist shadows. The saber waves, which was approaching from all directions, shattered like a mirror, collapsing at the first blow. What? The face of the Seeking Passion Sect cultivator changed drastically. Seeing the terrifying strength of Yang Kai's attack, he shifted the position of his saber hurriedly, using it to protect his body. At the same time, he pushed his source chi and put his strength into his feet to quickly retreat. However, it was too late. Hong hong hong. After a muffled sound, the man tumbled through the air before slamming into the ground some distance away, coughing up copious amounts of blood after the impact. Deacon Cao Yang. The remaining Seeking Passion sect disciples were shocked and hurried to Cao Yang's side to check his injuries.